used to believe that if I just worked hard enough, loved hard enough, gave enough, my parents would finally see me. I was wrong. My name is Ava Reynolds. I'm 32 years old, founder of a luxury event planning company in Manhattan, and according to Forbes' regional feature last spring, one of New York's top 40 under 40 rising entrepreneurs. My parents didn't share the article, but they did forward it to my younger brother, Ethan, with a message that said, "Maybe you should ask your sister for investment money." That pretty much sums up our family dynamic. Growing up invisible. I grew up in suburban Connecticut. My father, Mark Reynolds, worked in commercial real estate. My mother, Linda Reynolds, was a former pageant queen turned community figure. Translation. Appearances mattered more than people. Ethan, my younger brother, was their golden boy, star quarterback, Ivy League hopeful, future CEO. I was responsible, which meant I cooked dinner at 16. I drove Ethan to practice. I worked part-time to buy my own prom dress. I got into Columbia without tutoring. They told everyone they were so proud. But pride and love are not the same thing. The Getaway I sponsored. Last December, I decided to do something big. Something generous. Something that would finally make them see me not as the backup child, but as the daughter who made it. I booked a 10-day luxury family getaway to Aspen. Not just flights. Not just hotel rooms. I booked a private slopeside chalet, first-class tickets, ski instructors, a private chef, a New Year's Eve dinner reservation at Matsuhisa Aspen. Total cost, $84,600. I paid every dollar. When I told my parents over dinner in Greenwich, my mother gasped. "Oh my God, Ava, that's extravagant." Dad smiled. "Well, looks like someone, finally doing something useful with her business." Ethan clapped me on the shoulder. "Guess being the family ATM pays off." They laughed. I laughed too. Because I always laugh. The email that changed everything. 3 weeks before the trip, I was finalizing ski fittings when I received an email from the airline. Subject, passenger manifest update. I assumed it was a minor seating adjustment. It was. My name was missing. Replaced by Ethan's girlfriend. I stared at the screen for a full 30 seconds before my brain processed it. I called my mother. "Mom, why am I not on the flight?" Silence. Then a sigh. "Well, honey, we thought it would be easier." Easier? You're so busy with work, and Ethan and Chloe have been going through a rough patch. We thought this would be good for them. I felt something inside my chest go cold. I paid for that trip. We know, sweetheart, but it's family. I swallowed. So I'm not family. Oh, don't be dramatic. Dramatic. That word has followed me my entire life. The truth slips out. Later that night, Ethan called. "Hey, don't make this a thing." A thing. "Mom said you're upset. I paid for it. And you make more than all of us combined." There it was. Not gratitude. Not apology. Just entitlement. I asked quietly, "Did you even ask me before replacing me?" He laughed. "You wouldn't have said no." He was right. That's what hurt most. The decision. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I opened my laptop. I logged into the airline portal. Because here's the thing about being the one who pays. The booking was in my name. The card was mine. The confirmation codes. Mine. And suddenly, for the first time in my life, I didn't feel invisible. I felt powerful. The cut. I didn't cancel everything. That would have been emotional. Messy. Predictable. Instead, I modified. Their first-class seats. Downgraded to economy. The chalet. Cancelled. Rebooked. Under a different name. The New Year's Eve dinner at Matsuhisa Aspen. Transferred. To myself. And someone else. Then I made one final adjustment. I removed 4 passengers entirely from the outbound flight. My parents. Ethan. Chloe. I left their return flight intact. After all, they'd need a way home. New Year's Eve. On December 28th, I boarded my first-class seat alone. Destination, Aspen. Except I wasn't alone. Across the aisle sat Daniel Harper. Venture capitalist. Divorced. 40. We met at a charity gala months earlier. He asked me to dinner twice. I'd been too busy. When he heard I was going to Aspen, he smiled. What a coincidence. It was. I had invited him. Because for the first time in my life, I chose myself. The airport meltdown. My phone started buzzing before we even reached cruising altitude. 23 missed calls. 14 texts. From Mom. Ava, what did you do? From Dad. This isn't funny. From Ethan. You stranded US. I turned my phone to airplane mode. And for the first time in years, I felt light. By the time I landed in Aspen, my phone looked like a war zone. Missed calls, voice notes, paragraph-long texts. I didn't open them. Instead, I stepped off the plane, breathing in cold mountain air that felt cleaner than anything back in Connecticut. Daniel walked beside me, carrying his leather duffel like he owned the runway. You look calm, he said. I am. That surprised even me. For years, my family had treated me like the spare tire, necessary but never chosen. This time, I chose myself. The surprise they didn't see coming. Remember the chalet? The one I canceled. I didn't let it go. I upgraded it. 6 bedrooms, glass walls facing the mountains, heated infinity pool, private staff. And on December 30th, I hosted a New Year's Eve pre-party. Not for my family. For investors. For clients. For press. Because what my parents never understood was this. This trip wasn't just generosity. It was networking. And when you humiliate a CEO, you don't lose a daughter. You lose access. The airport fallout. Later that evening, I finally listened to one voicemail. My mother's voice was shaking. Ava, we had to buy last-minute tickets. Do you know how expensive that was? Your father is furious. Good. Let him feel it. They'd arrived in Aspen. But not in luxury. Economy middle seats. 3 layovers. A hotel nowhere near the slopes. For once, they weren't insulated by my success. The public collision. On New Year's Eve afternoon, I saw them. Of course I did. The Little Nell's lobby is not large. My mother spotted me first. Her eyes traveled over my white tailored ski suit. Daniel at my side. The concierge greeting me by name. Ava, she said like she wasn't sure. Dad looked stunned. You're staying here. I booked it. Ethan stepped forward. You canceled our chalet. Yes. You humiliated us. I tilted my head. You replaced me. Silence. Snow fell softly outside the windows. And for the first time in my life, they looked small. The truth about Dad. Then came the twist they didn't expect. Dad lowered his voice. You think you're powerful now. Your company's expansion loan. Guess who made that introduction? I smiled. You didn't. His face changed. See, 3 months earlier, I'd quietly bought out a silent partner in my father's struggling real estate development. I knew his finances were collapsing. I knew he needed liquidity. And I knew he'd never admit it. What he didn't know, the venture capital firm backing my expansion, was Daniel. And Daniel answered to me. Dad's face went pale. You wouldn't. I already did. I didn't destroy him. I restructured the deal. On one condition. No more financial dependence on me. No more emotional manipulation. No more treating me like optional family. Midnight. That night at Matsuhisa Aspen, fireworks reflected against the glass walls. Daniel raised his champagne. To women who stop asking for permission. I clinked my glass. At midnight, my phone buzzed again. A message from Ethan. Dad's deal fell through. Investors pulled. I replied with 3 words. Actions have consequences. The final ending, the replacement. 2 weeks later, I received an email. From my mother. Not dramatic. Not defensive. Simple. I didn't realize how much we took you for granted. We always assumed you. Stay. That was the truth. They thought I was permanent. Unmovable. Replaceable. But here's what they learned. When you treat someone like a backup plan long enough, they become their own main character. 1 year later. The following winter, I returned to Aspen. Different trip. Different energy. Daniel and I weren't just dating anymore. We were partners, in business and in life. My company doubled revenue. My father downsized his firm. Ethan got a job, without asking me for leverage. And my mother. She calls before making assumptions now. Do I hate them? No. Revenge isn't about destruction. It's about correction. I didn't cut them from the flight because I'm cruel. I did it because boundaries are louder than arguments. The final line. They replaced me on the trip I paid for. So I replaced my role in their lives. Not as the provider. Not as the backup child. But as the woman who finally understood her worth. And trust me, that upgrade was first class.